What's raging, gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, HenricK the Wreck?
You know me, I'm just doing great. And then you know what? It's a great day as well.
Man,
How
it
about for
is
you?
a beautiful day. Man, I am super stoked to be here live doing this with you every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we got to give a huge shout out to all the gamers because if it wasn't for you guys, this show wouldn't be possible. But man, I'm Louis Vuitton, Tom Ford, Gucci. Hey, but we always like to start off the show by letting you guys know. Go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. You can like, share, and subscribe.
And you can follow my YouTube channel. I post on there, and yeah, like, follow, and subscribe, comment, all that jazz.
You
You'll
know the
like the
drill.
comments, like the content that I put up on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show. And we always like to start off the show with the bang and give you guys viral content that is circulating all across the globe. And Cyber 2077 stunning visuals are highlighted in new videos online demonstrating how mods like Novalut and a custom reshade demonstrating, these incredible enhancements come in with this photorealistic feel. And so the modded cars and combat gameplay further contribute to making Night City feel incredibly realistic. So we're going to show you guys how awesome these videos are and the potential for what's to come with video games.
Maybe I'm a little biased because I played through this game twice, full 100%, but this looks amazing. I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
It looks absolutely stunning. I mean, I'm kind of
Yeah.
speechless on a level. I don't know what more to add. I mean, doesn't the picture say enough? It's like they
Well, I
say a
mean,
picture says
there's
a
still
thousand words.
some goofy things, like when the characters flop over dead. It's kind of like, oh, that's clearly a game, but it does look like someone took a camera and decided, let's just go around a city and film everything.
Yeah, and if you guys want to check it out online, as, as always, do it. This live stream only comes out to 1080 pixels, but you can see 8K resolution of this magic, and it will even enhance further the experience. But we like to
Yeah.
circulate and check out what gamers are saying online. And the first comment that we got here is playing this game in VR would be a fantastic experience.
It'd be wild.
Be revolutionary, I think. Remember the rule. If there's this, that ain't right. Oh, man, I hyped it up. That was the wrong comment. See, I've already made an error today. Night doesn't look that photorealistic, but during the day, it's mind-boggling. The first few seconds, I legitimately had my doubts whether this was actually gameplay footage or video recording. It does start to feel like that, and on a level, remember the unrecorded? The video game that
Yeah.
was kind of causing a ruckus
Game.
because it was based off a police officer in the body cam footage.
Yep. Yep.
We're
There's a
starting.
mod in here as well to have the same sort of body cam footage effect. And, I'll say it doesn't look exactly like on record, but it is pretty close.
It's pretty darn close, and it's very promising for what's to come in the video game sector. But you guys, this one, man, this is super, super funny because a gamer is going viral for downloading numerous mods, which I know you, HenricK, love doing mods on your video games, right?
Oh, sometimes. I mean, like, I modded 2077, Cyberpunk 2077. Didn't make it look like that previous video, but it still made it look better. Yeah.
Right, but do you just download mods just because you see that it's highly popular and don't really look at the description, or do you know exactly what you're downloading?
I know what I'm downloading to make
Okay.
sure that I don't download the wrong thing.
Well, that's good because a gamer is going viral for downloading numerous mods onto his PC without considering the impact of his gaming experience. And
Hmm.
gamers, let's just put it this way. He's learning the hard way.
Mods for Lethal Company. And I look down here and it says, lethal haptics. I'm like, okay, it's just for like a controller for like, you know, if it's like a controller support. Yeah, no, it's to connect your fucking butt plug to the game. Your butt plug. So that every time you die, your ass tingles. 28,000.
Hey, you know what? Different strokes for different folks, I guess, is what they say about that one, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, golly, I'm like, how can anybody just download something without even taking into effect the spam, the malware, the viruses? I mean, we grew up on LimeWire. You would think that our generation would be a little bit more cautious about what they download online. But hey, you know, people had a laugh when it came to this viral video. First one that we got here is not just for deaths. And how do you know this information? Hey, well, you know, some people like to have a kinky experience, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
My prostate about to get some company.
Some lethal company.
Oh, I like how your wordplay was awesome there. Okay. Also means 28,000 people bought a probably expensive butt plug. Yeah. Who would have known that this gaming world that we live in just loves to live the 4D experience, 5D? Where are we going with this?
You know, this always reminds me whenever this whole conversation, because it's not just this game, it's other games that have mod support for this, but the game Ultra Kill, which I believe is still in early access, at one point, one of the updates was to add support for a butt plug. And it's like, okay, you guys, like, is this just like what people were asking for? Like, what's the logic behind this? But hey, you know, I guess people are asking for it, clearly.
Yeah, clearly, because this might not be 4D, but it's RD, if you know what I mean. Rear end. All right, never mind. I know, that joke was lame. Hey, but this year the industry reaches a new frontier in the race to make a game playable on every device, right? Because that's what Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft are freaking out about. They realize the consoles are kind of dying. They need to get in the cloud gaming experience, and they know people like to play on their mobile devices, but they want to offer the opportunity for something more, something greater. And so you have the chance now to play Doom on a lawnmower. And yes, you heard that correctly. You could play Doom on a lawnmower for the low, low price of $2,000. So who needs the next-gen consoles when you could frag demons and trim your lawn at the same time? I think that's what the game had its original intent. I don't know. You tell me, gamers.
All right, now all they're missing is to put this on a chainsaw, so that when you have a chainsaw in the game, you have the game playing on your chainsaw.
Actually, I don't know if I like that idea. You know, you probably need to be really focused when you're holding.
Yeah, probably.
Chainsaw. At least this one, it looks like it can kind of do its thing on its own. But you know, it didn't really seem like it showcased a whole lot. That's the trailer. We didn't put this all together. That was on them. So I guess we're gonna see more when we actually get some hands-on play, supposedly. But hey, you know, let's go ahead and check out the comments, because the first one that we got here is. Oh, that's not it. Oh my gosh, I'm failing today, guys. I'm sorry. So there were actual meetings with suits and PowerPoint for this project. Picture that.
Yeah,
Can you picture
multiple
that?
people had to approve it.
Exactly. Remember the rule. If there's a screen, it can run Doom.
Yep, that is the golden rule.
That's the golden rule, baby. Should have been a new Doom and exclusive on there. When people complain, don't you guys have lawnmowers?
Oh, not them bringing... Oh, God. That is a multi-level joke right there. I'm digging at Blizzard for when they released news about Diablo Immortal. People were like, oh, what? A mobile game? And
See, I knew you would catch that joke.
Phones?
Hey, but, you know, some people are trying to get creative on trying to get their stuff out there. You know, we just talked about the RD. Now we got the lawnmower with Doom. And get this, get ready to sniff your way into victory with GameScent, the latest innovation in gaming that brings AI-generated smells to your gameplay. From the bass aromas of gunfire to the DLC sense of human exertion and ocean. Get ready to experience gaming with your nose in a whole new way. I
can't wait for there to be support for this sort of thing in a game like Helldivers 2. You're going to be dying to the automatons, and all you're going to smell is spent gunpowder and the sense of a battlefield, essentially.
Yeah, or like, what if you're playing like goals and stuff like that? I mean, are you gonna smell like human feces, or what if you're playing like, as it referenced on the trailer, a golf course? Okay, what does that even mean? I know you need, some people have these really high-end PCs with water cooling systems in it, but how do you maintain something like this?
That's a good question. I guess we'll have to see when it comes out, but I'm sure it'll be something like, those scent diffusers that every now and then you gotta clean it out. You can't just let it fester.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm just curious when someone's gonna make indie video game with the game scent, accompanied together, and your punishment is just to keep farting. The guy just keeps farting, and you just gotta sit there and smell the queefs and everything. Like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be gnarly.
That's a way to make people rage quit right there.
Yeah, make people rage quit instantly. But we got comments around the game scent, and the first one says, "What the F are we leading to? We're leading to indie video games where your punishment is to get farted on, okay? And then you're gonna be infected, and then we're gonna watch your streams and we're gonna laugh about it." Second one we got here is, so if you get gas in a video game cutscene, what's gonna happen? Yes, exactly. Everybody's thinking exactly how I'm feeling.
You're gonna get gassed by Caustic in Apex Legends, and you're gonna feel like you're gonna die being in the same room.
I didn't even think about that. That actually, wow, that is immersive right there, playing Apex Legends. They have an opportunity. Me going into the strip club in Grand Theft Auto with this thing turned on. Oh, man.
Of course, some weirdo had to come and ruin it.
Yeah, you really had to take it to that extent. My golly. But you know what? This is Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. After all, we are stoked that you guys are here with us. And HenricK the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
Absolutely. I'm ready to rage.
Hey, let's get it, fam. And as you can clearly see with the lower third, speak up, get featured live on air. We want to hear from you gamers. If there's something outlandish that my homeboy HenricK the Wreck says, and if there's just something so eloquent, it's just something so mesmerizing that Chris Collins says, make sure to shout it out. But then again, if you want to bring the fire towards me, trust me, I'm not afraid to bite. I'll come after you.
Because you're such a bard with words sometimes.
I'm just a young inquisitor, you know what I'm saying? Hey, but let's get the show on the road, fam. Woo!
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Pacific Drive. Pacific Drive is an indie game that has garnered a good bit of attention since it was announced. Now that it's finally out, we can take a look at it by first going over the gameplay. The gameplay of Pacific Drive does have a good amount of driving, as the name would imply. While being a survival game first and foremost, the game does take cues from roguelikes, immersive sims, and driving simulators, of course. The gameplay loop largely consists of driving out into unstable areas with your station wagon, scavenging for resources, many of which you'll find by scrapping, and then moving on before the storm comes your way. All the while, you'll also encounter anomalies of instability. After each trip out on unstable roads, you'll make your way back to the garage, where you'll restock on supplies as well as repair your car and unlock upgrades. The game foregoes giving your character upgrades, instead giving the upgrades to your car, from bolstering the defenses or a more powerful engine to adding equipment to the car. With the upgrades at your disposal, there is plenty to work towards while also figuring out the story of the game. Speaking of, let's go over why you're there in the first place. The story of Pacific Drive takes place in the Olympic Exclusion Zone in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. The Exclusion Zone is an area of the Pacific Northwest that has been sealed off, preventing anybody from getting in or out, at least in theory. The zone was closed off due to the growing threat of the spread of instability in the area, creating anomalies that manifest in several different ways, such as heaps of scrap floating, floating rocks, or mannequins placed in poses, among many other anomalies. At the beginning of the game, your character is driving a station wagon near the zone, and unexpectedly, you get teleported into the exclusion zone. From there, you must find your way out of the zone with the help of the locals who have learned to live in the zone. What will you encounter or have to endure before you escape? But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
There's something about the aesthetic of this game that I just found very, very comfy. It's the sort of game where I can just put it on and I can relax for a bit, at least until the storm comes in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wow, you're like the first person that said comfy, relaxing when it comes to this game. Okay, I'll let you continue.
And I don't condone drinking and driving, but maybe this is a game where you could sit back and relax with a cold little beer in your hand, and
I am just mind blown. You were coming off right off the bat with the most mind blowing take of Pacific Drive that I have not heard of yet. Continue.
Really?
This is a work of art. I love it.
Maybe I just find the Pacific Northwest aesthetic really comforting. You know, being out in the forest and being one with nature. And then seeing a mannequin out of nowhere pop up and be like, That's not comfy to you?
Well, I mean, this game will drive you crazy, spinning your wheels in madness, but you won't be able to resist not taking it for another lap in your station wagon. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's something about, going with the feeling of returning back from a run is something that I've not experienced yet in a video game like Pacific Drive. That is one of the major kudos. I think it's really, really fun when you have to go on these, these missions where you enter these zones with all kinds of different environmental aspects that are going to be hitting your station wagon as you play this game. And, you're going to be collecting, anchors, which then open up portals. And then this crazy, light beam, shoots from the sky. And then you're, racing back, to teleport back to your garage with all the resources that you've gathered in your trunk. And I've never felt that high adrenaline rush in any kind of video game in my life for a driving game. Yeah, for a driving game like this.
Fair enough. Yeah, I like I was saying, there's the comfy aspects of it, going around just scavenging for materials, and that part is comfortable. When you're exiting and the zone is right on your vehicle and you're taking damage, that's where it does get a little hectic.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, how do you start off your verdict by saying this is a comfy game? You're lying to the people out there that are thinking about this game.
Maybe I'm just someone who's okay with some chaos in my life.
I'm just telling you, this station wagon in Pacific Drive reminds me of my Ford Explorer right now. It has a mind of its own, right? When you're heading back and you're trying to enter that teleport so you can get back to the garage with all your resources, random things will start to affect your car because it has its own personality. You'll be driving back and then out of nowhere, your battery's draining so rapidly, you don't even know where the source is coming from. It will drive you mad, but then you're going to want to keep repeating the cycle because there's something going on with the story mechanics behind it that keeps you engaged to want to keep rebuilding, restocking, upgrading your vehicle so you could pursue the next zones throughout the game. But I've been wondering this, Henrik, when auto mechanics play these kind of games like Car Mechanic Simulator and now Pacific Drive, do they get PTSD? I'm just wondering, because there's a lot happening with these kind of cars, and I'm just wondering if this
coming into a garage and missing some panels off the side.
Exactly, the rim fell off, window shield broken,
Yeah.
Is this harmful for you auto mechanics out there?
It might be. It might be. I mean, at least the work to fix up your car in this game is real simple. It can be a little complicated at first to learn the systems that the game presents to you. Things like, you have to craft these parts to make these parts, and you need to have these materials, and you need to go out and get more materials probably. That all, it ends up being kind of complicated to get into, but when it all just clicks and you get it, it's very satisfying, and you end up just in a flow state of going into a run, getting the materials, coming back to the garage, fixing up your car, unlocking some upgrades, and then repeat. Just go back in.
Exactly. And I'm just going to say it for all the gamers out there. It's not going to be for everybody, because certain people are going to feel like me and you're going to get revved up. But I'm on a level of liking this game because it's very, very refreshing. And I'm super excited that that same kind of vibe that I was getting from the trailers months ago is giving me that same experience jumping into this game. And ignore a lot of the negative comments that are coming around this game. You know, I didn't even realize that, you know, video game industry, or at least in the community of gamers, we're now starting to look like the metal community, where we're starting to create subgenres around video games. Like now this game's being labeled as gender politics. Have you heard about this drama as of yet around this game, HenricK?
Because of some of the stickers and cosmetics, right?
I mean, how stupid is that?
A classic thing.
Right. I mean, gamers have the opportunity to unlock sticker packs, and people are upset that in one of the sticker packs, there's a diverse range of gender and sexual identities. Okay, listen, look, if you don't like it, don't put it on your vehicle. It's that simple. Like, I'll be the first one to admit, I don't necessarily understand all the social issues out there, but I don't let that rock my boat. That's not going to deter me from not wanting to jump in my station wagon and continuing to play Pacific Drive. So if you're really going to allow that to dictate a game, and I guess that's on you. But I'm just amazed that that got flustered in with Pacific Drive. It's starting to sound like Suicide Squad killed the Justice League all over again, where people complain,
exactly.
Oh my gosh, I see a rainbow flag. Really? This is 2024. We're done with that. Please stop with all the nonsense. But
because you get the choice of whether or not you want to even, you know, go the route of customizing with stickers like that. And if you want to make your car all blacked out or all green, cool.
Put some flames on it. Make it look like the Scooby-Doo. I've seen some renditions like that as well.
I've seen that too.
You know, there's a lot of fun things that you can do to adapt with your vehicle. I think it's an amazing game. I'm really stoked for it. And I'm even hearing reports that this video game was created by 20 people. So kudos. That's remarkable. And I'm going to tell you right now, this game is a repeat, because the game is repetitive in and alone of itself, and you're going to want to go back and play it again. It's a great, great game for $30, and shout out to a beautiful, challenging, and surprisingly unique game.
Yeah, especially considering that the game takes a lot of cues from elements of other genres, like roguelikes and immersive sims. There's interactions you'll have in each run that will be a complete, unique experience to your run, and not something that another person is necessarily going to experience the same in any other way. So that in itself really helps lead to it being a repeat for me as well. And that's why it is a repeat for me, because it's just something you can hop into. And like I was saying at the beginning, I find it kind of comfy. So I can go in and have some fun for a couple hours at least, and then, you know, hop out
because
of the trip
you
and
just
have
always
some...
wanted to fulfill your dreams drinking and driving, right? Is that what? I'm just kidding. We do not advocate for that. I'm just joking. But you did say that. You did say that. And
I said I don't condone it,
wild...
but this is a game where you could do it.
I'm kidding. We do not condone that. But you heard it from us. It's both a repeat. Go ahead and pick up Pacific Drive. It's an excellent game. But we want to let you guys know, gamers that are tuning in live to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, stick around, because HenricK and I, we got so much more to discuss. So let's rock and roll, baby.
Let's get it.
What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. There are plenty of games to play in the month of March, whether you're on a Nintendo Switch, PS5, PC, or Xbox Series XS. And we've put together the top 3 games that must be on your radar and embark on a grand adventure in Dragon's Dogma 2, a narrative-driven action RPG where you shape your experience. Join forces with pawns, mysterious beings, and a deep, immersive fantasy world. Let's go ahead and check out a first glimpse of Dragon's Dogma 2.
Capcom, you're about to make me act up. You about to make me do something stupid. Like spend game money and, spend time in this game. Might not be a stupid idea, though, considering it looks awesome, and it is definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on for Pause or Repeat, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I slept on the very first game, and looking at the gameplay trailer for the sequel to this definitely makes me want to jump on head first. I think it's going to be an incredible game out there. I think it should be on every gamer's radar. And, this is their very first $70 gaming title. So Capcom is really banking that you, the gamers, will love it just as much as they loved creating this game for everybody to immerse themselves into this insane fantasy world. So if you guys want to get your hands on Dragon's Dogma 2, releases on March 22nd on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series XS. So the next game that we're going to be telling you gamers that you need to have on your top 3 easily is a game that's based in 1863 Japan. The arrival of the black ships marked the end of the Tokugawa shogunate's rule, plunging the nation into turmoil. Amid war, disease, and political unrest, a nameless warrior emerges, wielding the fate of Japan in their hands in a brand new game called Rise of the Ronin. Let's take a look.
You can add that one to the list of 15 games specific to the PS5.
So we're in the hole already. We're already at $140 in.
Yeah.
broke boys over here. When I look at this game, I'm in awe. I love a really good Japanese style game, especially when they throw it back into the Amazing Samurai era. But the only concern I have for this game, is I really hope it meshes into being its own thing. We got Ghost of Tsushima, phenomenal game, and I love what it's done within itself. I just hope that this IP can stand the test of time as its own. That's my only concern with Rise of the Ronin.
I think it could, considering, we haven't seen a whole lot of it yet. We haven't, seen much of the game outside of the trailers after all. But I think that from what I've seen so far, it is going to probably be its own thing, separate from Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, and I think you have to excel on the storytelling aspect, because if you're doing a lot of this like Assassin's Creed-esque, or if it becomes like a side missions, like a Ghost of Tsushima, then this game's going to get kind of started on a level, But the graphics look amazing, looks impeccable. It's definitely on my radar, and it should be on your radar as well, gamers. So the Rise of Ronin releases also on March 22nd on PS5. And the last game in our top 3 is Princess Peach Stars, in her own game. Princess Peach Showtime, saving the day at the Sparkle Theater. With the help of Stella, the theater's guardian, Princess Peach transforms into various roles like a sword fighter and a detective. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, oh my gosh, she's got a lot of suits. Let's check it out.
I gotta hand it to Nintendo. Some people might say that a lot of their games feel the same, especially in the Mario universe, but they all look really polished, and this one does seem like it's going to be a bit different than your typical Mario game. Might be a sleeper, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm always super critical on Nintendo because growing up, Nintendo is the standard. It it is the standard. And that's why I'm super critical on Nintendo and new releases coming. But I'm loving this. And my first reaction when I'm watching this trailer for the brand new game, I'm only thinking about the future of Nintendo. I'm thinking about like Super Smash Brothers, for example, and when they decide to make a new adaptation of that game. Could you imagine playing as Princess Peach? With all
And she
those
has,
outfits
like, these
that they
abilities.
exactly, it's gonna be so freaking awesome, and I'm just loving that she's finally having her own game of her own. I know that there's been different renditions, but this one just looks unique, something different, something special. And why does Princess Peach look so good being a stage actor? I would have never put that correlation together. It's a really cool fix.
There actually is an interesting fan theory that came about a while back ago that all the characters in the Mario games are stage actors putting on a show. It's just a fan theory. It's not an actual thing, but
Okay.
some food for thought.
Yeah, did they not see the Super Mario movie? They were just normal plumbers, and then they got synced into a tube, and then they're gone. Hey, but you guys should definitely put this on your radar. You're gonna be a broke boy because again, 3 games all being released on the same day in March 22nd. But unfortunately, you, the Nintendo Switch gamers, will have the pleasure of playing this game only as it won't be available on the PC, PS5, obviously, and the Xbox Series XS. But you got a lot of great games to look forward to. They're super hot. But hey, HenricK, take it away. What's the next topic of conversation that we're going to be discussing here on Patch Notes?
Oh boy. So, EA Sports College Football 25 announced that it will block gamers from manually adding players who reject their NIL opt-in. EA Sports said players who accept their NIL deal will receive a minimum of $600 and a copy of College Football 25. There will also be opportunities for them to earn money by promoting the game, but this hasn't stopped gamers from expressing their thoughts with the following comments.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and read the comments. The first one that we got here is over 11,000 players mean there should be 85-man rosters. Yeah, so, there's people out there that are getting really, really excited for this game. Getting $600 to appear in college football video game is not a bad deal. There are over 11,000 FBS college football players, meaning EA will spend $6.6 million on NIL deals for a game that was doing $80 million in annual sales before it was discontinued. That was back in 2014. That also doesn't include production, marketing, or anything else. And most of these players don't have any leverage. I also think people underestimate how many players just want to be in the game. We do not get $30,000 to $35,000 to be in Madden. There was a debate on Twitter saying that that's how much NFL players were getting. Harrison Phillips plays for the Minnesota Vikings, and he further said in his tweet, the NFLPA Players Corporation is responsible for all of our licensing, corporate partners, player services. We have over 43 companies, commercial agreements, and licensing deals that goes into that number. Madden isn't even the biggest piece of the pie. So Harrison Phillips completely debunks what a lot of, gurus in the sports world were saying. I don't remember getting paid $600 to do nothing as a child. No appearances, no autograph signings, no commercials, no nothing. Get $600 and a free video game. 85 scholarship players per team, 134 teams. That's over $6.8 million, plus another 80,000 in free copies they're giving out. What more do you want them to do? Don't want to be in the game and get your free $600? Then opt out. No big deal. And last, $600 in a game to sell your likeness to EA seems a bit low. Cool opportunity for players, but not sure that number gets the job done. If their intention was to lowball them, That's a good offer. So clearly people are split on this, HenricK. So if you were a college football athlete, would you accept EA Sports NIL deal?
So I never was a college football or any sport athlete, clearly, but I would say, thinking back to when I was in college, $600, sign me up.
Right?
$600 is like a lot of money for me as a college student. That could last me a long time. So I think, yes, from the perspective of some people, this is going to be, like people were saying, a low ball, or maybe kind of insulting to just be offered $600 for a game at that scale. But you do have to do the math as well, that if they're going to charge, or not charge them, if they're going to pay them more money than $600, that just eats away out of their budgeting that they already have, considering the projection of, like, say if the game does sell 80 million in total, this is already almost 7 million just to pay for the players to be in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be crazy. And I think people need to also realize, too, back in 2014, former UCLA basketball player Ed O'Bannon sued to be compensated for the use of his name, image, and likeness. He was very upset seeing, on campus, the UCLA store sell jerseys with his last name on the back of it. And then on top of that, seeing EA Sports feature him in the game without even receiving even a single dime. But also, as a lot of the tweets have already referenced, 134 FBS college football teams will be in the game, and only FBS teams will be the first installment of the game. Remember, there's 32 teams in Madden. We have 134 college football teams coming to EA Sports, which is remarkable. But, I think it's also important to reference that the game will be completely different than Madden, even though it's run on the same performance engine. And they do say that the playoffs and realignment will be customizable. Very fun features. But before we even chime in even further, I think it's important that we highlight voices in the sports community and sports icons Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco, Jesus Christ. Well, excuse me, Bob. I know she's going to hate me for saying that. Shared their thoughts on EA Sports' $600 NIL deal on their podcast, Nightcap. Let's go ahead and take a look at what these two gentlemen have to say.
Money to do it, where they can pay the college players a little bit more. Most of the college players now are making money outside of EA as well with the NIL deals.
600 ain't no money. 6,000, they might have would have got your boy.
But I think, what it's like being in college and seeing your name on the back of that jersey, though. That's a dope feeling. Maybe not for 600. They could make it a little sweeter than that.
Give them 6 bands. What 6 bands?
Just to be in the game, though. Can you imagine? That's dope, man.
So, I mean, is it 600 or 6 bands?
6,000 might be a lot, considering that's 10 times more than what they're being offered now. And those people that were doing the numbers, that means it would be more than half of how much the game would be making in sales.
Yeah, big time. But I think we need to really spell this out. Whether it's $600 or $6,000, whether a college athlete gets, that's up to you, the gamers, to decide. Me personally, I think riding on a full ride scholarship is amazing yet and alone. And so to be on top and get $600, take it while you can. I think Chad Ochocinco has a great point. I think about some of these, massive universities that don't even put the last names on the back of their own student athletes. Is just such a mockery in and alone of itself. But calling for 6 bands, I believe, is a bit much, especially considering how there's sometimes students that are applying for universities. They got a 4.2 GPA, and they still can't get a full ride scholarship yet. You're a student athlete, and you get a full ride, and so you should be more focused on your education and then making football a priority second. But just get this, okay? I'm going to just throw this out here because I'm going to be the burden of bad news when it comes to college football 25. And I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't think a good majority of some of the most popular college football athletes will be in this video game. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this month, for example, Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart signs the first private jet NIL deal with access to his own flights. Okay? So when you hear stuff like this, you start to wonder the major top dogs, they're like in comparison to the OnlyFans models, right? The 0.0001%. They're going to get these lucrative deals. Why would they take $600? They don't care about a free copy of the game. They already have enough money to get a free copy of the game. What more self-promotion do they need from social media? That's where it's going to get kind of muddy. And then I think of the guys like Shedeur Sanders, who is primetime Sanders boy, considered one of the highest, paid college athlete out there. Or think about the likes of Archie Manning, HenricK, a guy that got an NIL deal as a freshman and not even a starting quarterback as of yet. But the very first card that he signed,
though, like I know you're going to say something about how much money the first card he signed went for.
$100,000,
right? But think about this. They say that they're going to block players from adding in these people,
yes,
these
good point,
athletes manually. They're going to block them. How are they going to do that? Because
that's the weird part.
If they can't manage that, then what is the downside to just signing it, getting your $600 and your free game versus some random 12-year-old getting this game, putting you in the game manually? EA is not able to manage that for some reason, and then now all of a sudden they're playing you, but it's not actually you, and you didn't get your $600 out of that.
Yeah, that's so true. And they won't disclose that. I know multiple media outlets have reached out to EA Sports going, wait, how are you going to block gamers from being manually able to add in some of their favorite players that opted out from being a part of College Football 25? What does that mean? I mean, do you have to change the skin color and keep the same name and all the same height and attributes and throwing power to avoid this situation? What's going to happen? Or is it going to be
it just feels like there's not going to be a way to regulate that unless you completely strip out the customization system in the first place, which that would be something that I don't think people would like in the first place.
Absolutely not. And I mean, what are they going to be punishing streamers? I mean, that was my only reaction to what they're talking about. A popular clip that goes viral on TikTok of a player that's not supposed to be in the game because you created it, and then you're encouraging people to download that mod, or who knows if they're going to even develop that feature that was so awesome in NBA 2K, for example, where, they have the setting for, the game gets done after a year, right? But you still hold on to that copy. But then you can go on this online library of all these customizable teams that all these people around the world have fixed the lineup rosters because there are moves that are happening in the offseason. And so if you don't want to get the new copy, you can at least play the older IP, and you can keep playing the game with these customizable teams. So are they just going to eliminate? Well, I know they're two separate studios, but I'm hoping the gamers, get the gist that I'm trying to say. Are they going to eliminate features like that? I don't know. I think it's wild that they're even going to try to come after the gamers, right?
Yeah.
The gamers, and then block you after paying $70 for their game plus tax.
Yeah.
Very, very wild. But we also wanted to make sure to also do another highlight, right? About EA Sports, unveiling the list of media personalities out there. And I think this is a great final point that we wanted to reference. I'm going to showcase it here live on screen. Right here we got, how about including some women at EA Sports 30 years on the college football sidelines? And that is a full-time reporter for ESPN, Holly Rowe. And I think she's got an excellent point. She's been with the industry since 1998. She has wrapped up her 27th college football season and also covers WNBA, women's college basketball, and women's college softball. And I know there's been jokes online going, oh, way to make it about me. Did they even say that they were going to bring sideline reporters? But guys, the fact that, we have these entertainers on the field bringing you the commentary and the insight in the moment, and we're not representing the female voices in sports media personality, that is insane to think that EA Sports got away with that.
Yeah, considering you really can't just justify not looking at both sides. Like, yes, sure, maybe it being a probably male-dominated industry in terms of viewership, there's going to be a lot of people who want to have the male reporters first and foremost, because that's their idols, the people that they've
Yeah, I'm not
grown
even.
up with
I'm not.
and all
I'm
that.
not.
But
You know what's funny about that, Henrik? I could care less about this whole inclusion thing. I'm more speaking along the lines of more of you got someone that's been in the industry doing this for 27 college football seasons. How are
that
you
is my
not
point,
represented in
though.
the game? And so I get that people are clowning yo, female, voice, yo, do we ever hear sideline reporters? Okay, dog, but still. It's not just men that are involved with the media personality groups around college football. There are more.
It's everyone.
It's
All
everybody.
kinds of people from all shapes and walks of life, considering it's such a big industry, really, when you look at how much money and how big of an event the Super Bowl is. And that's just Super
So
Bowl
true.
as is. There's big events that happen outside of the Super Bowl, too, that are already bigger than some other industries. So there's all sorts of people with their hands in this sort of thing.
Big time. But hey, we want to know from you guys, do you believe some of the top tier NIL, expended, players, are they even going to be involved in this game? Will they just skip it? Or will they just end up signing the $600 NIL deal and making this game prosper for what everybody has been anticipating for a very, very long time, college football 25? But hey, I guess this is a perfect segue cue to move on to the next topic of conversation. You ready to rock and roll, Henrik?
Absolutely. Let me know what's going on. Power World's been in the news, but not necessarily for good reasons.
Well, it's starting a great conversation. I'm with you.
Yeah.
A lot of people are trying to slam Power World right now because it has experienced a steep decline with over 84% drop in players on Steam, down to around 350,000 concurrent players from its peak of 2.1 million. So people have been wondering.
I mean, first off, just put that in perspective. 350 almost thousand players playing all at once is still a lot. That's a lot of people playing.
Yeah, exactly. And despite the decrease reaching 2.1 million concurrent players was a remarkable achievement, placing it in second in Steam history ahead of popular titles like Dota or CSGO, Apex Legend, and Lost Ark. And so this has sparked a debate online amongst gamers asking the question, what video game has fallen off the fastest? And we have the comments here. The very first game that was referenced was Multiverses. Wow.
Oh man, cool concept, but oh yeah, it fell off.
You don't think it's going to make a return? I was actually reading a report this morning on Yahoo that Multiverses is in a collaboration real soon with McDonald's.
Huh. You're gonna have the Hamburglar?
That is what's being rumored.
Guess.
Yeah, so I heard that they're trying to make a redemption with this video game series. Next one that we got here is Splitgate.
This one's a shame considering the concept's real cool. It's basically Halo but Portal mixed together. But
yeah,
it just didn't kick off.
Hey, over 6,000 people really felt like it fell off the entire map. I don't even know how you can do that in video games. You're surrounded by a boundary. Agreo? I don't remember. Agario? See, I'm like, no. And then I had to go online, HenricK, and look up this game, and I thought, yeah, there's a reason why this is forgotten. This looks like the lamest game ever.
I think this one blew up because it was so accessible. You just had to go to a website for it, and then it actually spun off. A lot of other people decided to make .io type of games like this. So it just sparked a little bit of a revolution for a short period of time.
Yeah, you were going, what the heck happened? Another person wrote here, Hogwarts Legacy. I was a bit surprised by this one.
Yeah, that one's a hot take a little bit, considering it had a lot of players at launch, but it's a single player game, so a lot of people aren't going to want to play it twice.
Exactly. It doesn't have that multiplayer experience, and maybe it's because they didn't add the Quidditch feature. Maybe that was the ploy that they missed out on. Next one that we got here is Among Us. Got to be Among Us.
This is an interesting one considering people still make Among Us jokes.
Yeah, exactly. And think about even during the COVID quarantine days, popular politicians in the United States were all jumping on, getting together,
Right.
YouTubers. And then right when the quarantine ended, I guess nobody's really playing Among Us anymore. And then the
Yeah.
last game that we got here is the finals. Y'all ain't talking about?
That, this one is a pretty recent one that I will say did fall off quite a bit, but I still see people playing it. It's still popular. It's just not hitting in the same way that it was when it first came out.
Agario was unblocked on the high school servers, played that a ton on the computers at school, Zachoman Gaming. Why are
There
you
you
playing
go.
this game when you have the chance to play Halo? Lame, dog. What? What are we doing here, man? Like, okay, so that is definitely a hot take. He definitely vibed with a Grail out of all those games. I'm still butchering the name. But who wants to go first? Do you want to go first, HenricK? I mean, which video game took a nosedive faster than a clumsy Mario slipping on a banana peel? You tell me. What was that game?
Well, something that came to mind when we were first asking ourselves this question is Watch Dogs Legion. Watch Dogs 1 and 2, 1 especially got
Okay.
a lot of praise. 2 was like, this is still good. Watch Dogs Legions, though, in 2020 it came out in October, and I didn't hear much about it shortly after. Granted, this was also the year where Cyberpunk 2077 came out.
That's right.
So a lot of the criticism and hype and everything went towards that game's launch, not so much Watch Dogs Legion. But
Yeah. That's a good point.
don't
I've
hear
even
anything
heard
about it even now.
No, it's funny that you said that because I remember reading about the game when it first came out, and a lot of reviewers of the game kept saying, "Man, the experience feels better when you play it on permadeath." Who the hell says that? And they felt like if you really wanted to be like a smooth assassin with the whole hacking, etc., that's where you're gonna feel the closest to that experience. So maybe them not adapting the gameplay towards this experience can harper on it. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I did put kind of a little bit of list. I have like at least 3 that I can think of. The number one, which is so dear to me, and it just pains me to even say this right now, but it's gonna be Fall Guys. Anybody that's tuned into Rage Quit Video
You
Game
just
Talk
said you
Show,
wanted to maybe stream that later.
I know, because I love the game, but it's definitely fallen off. It became so freaking popular when it first came out, and then it tanked so hard the minute Epic Games acquired this phenomenon. They made it available for free, then it fell under the control of this stupid, lame, massive currency change. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll break it down to you, because remember crowns when you're playing Fall Guys and you got to compete against 60 people, and then the game show gets smaller and then only one person can wear the crown like King James, and you're going to dominate the rest of the herd, and then you collect these crowns, and they're not easy to get, by the way. Again, you're competing against 60 people and only one person can get the crown, and then you could use your crown as a currency to be able to buy costumes. But now they're no longer spendable currencies, which is such a mockery. So then you get these tokens, and then they don't mean nothing for you anymore. And so now you got to like pay to play just to be able to get outfits. I can't vibe with it anymore. And that was the main reason why I would want to jump on all the time, because you want to build your library. I mean, I got a ton of characters, HenricK, a ton. And now I'm missing out because I haven't played for like 6 months. Right. I got so many, but it's completely fallen off. And if you want to talk about a game, like you were saying earlier, which kind of got, under the limelight of like other great games releases, like you referenced with like Cyberpunk 2077, kind of put it on that head-to-head match. What about Diablo 4? Diablo 4 was like talked about for like a month or two, and then the minute Remnant 2 came out, Baldur's Gate 3, the game that you love a lot, Armored Core 6. I can think of like 3 games that outshadowed Diablo 4. And maybe it's because of the quirkiness of like buying a horse mount for, gosh, how much did they want again?
$65 for a horse in the game? That's more money than the game.
Right. If you're not going to give an incentive to the gamers to want to return, and all you want is more money. By the way, the game was $70. And they want an in-game item for $65. A horse mount?
Yeah. Plus, especially back then, I mean, it's been fluctuating whether, like a season patch comes out and people are like, yeah, the game's good again. And then the next patch comes out and it's like, man, this game sucks. That's what people
Exactly.
felt like when the game came out. They got the end game and they're like, man, this game sucks.
Yeah, where are the days of Diablo 2? I
yes.
just amazing
Yes.
times. I have not felt that experience with Diablo since. And another game that I'm thinking about, just to kind of wrap it up kind of quickly with this, topic of which video game fell off the fastest. Remember Knockout City?
Oh, yeah.
They were trying to make a different spin on Battle Royale, because everything was a
Yep.
shooter-up game like PUBG, which could also be argued as a game that fell off. But they were trying to make something different by doing like a fist-fighting Battle Royale game, and then I had to look into it because I can't remember. I had to really do a deep think about games that fell off, and this game really did fall off. The game came out in 2021, and then it quickly closed after 2 years in 2023. So, I mean, who would have thought?
You know what? I just had this thought. We forgot to mention the one game that in recent history was the worst to fall off the day before.
It didn't really get a cut. I mean, that's true. That's true. We didn't say popular games that fell off. We said which game fell off the fastest. So that's a good point. A lot of hype when it comes to these like next gen cinematic trailers, and then when the gameplay finally releases, we're like, we all got finessed.
Yeah.
So very, very good point. We definitely want to hear from you gamers. Which video game fell off the fastest? But hey, HenricK, take it away. What else is going down in the industry?
Yeah, so Rainbow Six Siege turns 9 years old this year, but in live service terms, it's more like 90. Cat
right.
years, dog years sort of time frame there. At the Siege Invitational 2024 in Brazil, according to the game's creative director, Rainbow Six Siege, quote, can last forever.
Yeah,
What?
forever? Well, we got that quote. He said, the idea of switching engines to something that could be off-the-shelf ready simply doesn't answer the needs of a really competitive and demanding game like Siege, he said. I'm not going to name names, but you see games that did go through sequels and just completely drop the ball because they have to remake every single thing that they did in that first game.
Overwatch 2. Moving on. Rainbow Six Siege has been doing the live service game longer than the term has been part of our vernacular. But the game's many revisions and increasing age of its engine has led longtime players asking the following questions.
Yeah, big time. And the first comment that we got here is, by Jinxie, who was just a recent streamer of the year, Rainbow Six Siege is the best FPS ever. So clearly when you get a top streamer like this still playing the game, yeah, it kind of gives them, promise that, yeah, maybe we can stick with this game. Bro sounds desperate to say Overwatch 2. Yep, it's exactly what HenricK said. Wow, everybody thinks this about Overwatch 2.
This is my first thoughts as well, though.
Wow, man. You wonder with all the backstabbing going on. Helldivers 2 seems to be doing pretty well. Hey, that's a good point. But then again, they completely changed format. It's not like they're sticking into a first-person shooter, right?
That's true.
And then developing another one. Helldivers went through a complete revamp process, only to be fair to the creative director with Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
Okay, but can we get a new Rainbow Six that isn't a sequel to Siege? Good point.
That'd be a good idea. I'd be okay with that more than anything else, honestly.
Right? Or Ubisoft. It's cool if you want to keep Siege going, but what is stopping you from making a new R6 game that goes back to the roots, which has a full campaign, player versus everyone, co-op campaign, and a more grounded semi-mil-sim tactical experience with some basic P versus P? And last, Overwatch 2 and Payday 3 are cautionary tales for sure, but should say bad and lazy sequels made purely to reset monetization opportunities without offering significant updates or new content are a mistake. So, HenricK, can Rainbow Six Siege dodge the aging process like a skilled operator dodges bullets, or will its engine age like milk left in the sun?
Well, think about it this way. They could maybe not be thinking about it right now, but maybe in the future, there's always going to be the opportunity for them to do something. Look at CSGO, for example. It came out in 2012.
Took
and
the
it
words
all
out
the
of
way
me.
till last year for them to update CSGO to now be CS2 with a new look and feel and everything. But we'll have to see. Maybe if they make another Rainbow Six Siege game, or not Siege, but just Rainbow Six game, and they make a new engine and everything, and make that game really successful as a single player game, maybe they'll take the engine from that and decide, you know what, we have this work now that we did for that. Let's port our Siege game over to this new engine so we have better opportunities to give new experiences to players who want to keep playing this game.
But it also sounds like, the creative director's trying to say, listen, look, like this can potentially tank our studio in general. The development costs have gotten so out of control over the years.
Yeah.
And, you hate to even say stuff like this, but they don't even take budgeting into account. And then we're seeing massive layoffs even today. We've even had reports about a rumored Star Wars game that got let go and releasing, another
EA,
exactly, another 900 employees being laid off. So, I mean, what the hell is going on? And I think, a lot of these studios are realizing, like, yes, we understand that there's new tools available. We got the Unreal Engine 5. It looks remarkable, but just put this into consideration. When Ubisoft's Rainbow Six Siege first released, it was 2015. Overwatch was still months away from coming out. PUBG still wasn't around, and then Fortnite was like a zombie game we never thought would ever see the day. And then it became Save the World, and then it became the iconic Battle Royale that we all still play to this day. So I get where the creative director's going. If it's not broken, why fix it? And he's looking at what you're referencing and what seemed like from another tweet, Overwatch 2. They're seeing the mistake, and they go, why even do something like that? And then maybe
why risk it?
Right. And remember, we talked about it 2 episodes back, but over 500 studios are all embracing live service gaming. What a crazy change of tide coming to the gaming world, and whether that's going to be smart in the end run, because like some studios will probably dominate, I'm assuming, but not all 500. That's really hard to compete, especially when you're in the
I
whole
would say that it's not even realistic for even 100 of them to compete. Probably not even that, in like 50.
Yeah. So, I mean, guys, let us know. I mean, is Rainbow Six Siege like still the go-to game in the year 2024? Or is it just going to completely derail and be one of those kind of games where the studio really should have listened to gamers and developed that sequel?
I think as long as they keep delivering good content updates for the players to stay happy, I don't think they'll need a sequel.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. It's just incredible that it still lives on to this day, and we're still seeing tons of gaming clips around this game. And I guess they better thank Jinxie for it. It's remarkable. But hey, we've made it to the end of Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. We want to thank you, the gamers, for tuning in every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because if it wasn't for you guys, this show wouldn't be possible. And I also want to let you guys know, if you're not following my YouTube channel, go ahead and scan the QR code, like, share, subscribe, so you never miss a live show.
And also, you can subscribe to my channel, where I'll post memes every Monday, and I'll post clips from the show, as well as I have a couple of series where I determine whether or not this game that we're looking at is really cool, and it's an in-development game, or I'm taking a look at a game that is just a game that I enjoy playing, and I recommend for people to play.
Hell yeah. And I know you got a stream that you're going to be doing around 8 o'clock. Is that what you're aiming for, HenricK?
Correct, yeah. At 8 o'clock, I will be hopping on my Twitch account, and I'm going to be streaming Risk of Rain 2, the roguelike that everyone should know about if they know that genre. But I'm going to make it a little bit different. I'm going to get some wacky mods in there. We're going to look through the mod lists and see what kind of random characters and like crazy things we can put together.
Exactly. And, I would be jumping on at 8 o'clock, but, I'm an LA kid after all, and we got a massive lineup that's coming in the NBA. Los Angeles Lakers versus the Los Angeles Clippers. So I'll be tuning in. But after the game, I'm assuming it's going to end around 9 o'clock-ish. You can come and join me, and I'm going to whoop some ass on these young lads that are playing Fall Guys. They want to say the game fell off? Well, I'm going to test their skills. I'm going to see if the real competitors are out there. So if you want to join the stream later in the night, go ahead and follow me on the YouTube channel, Twitch, Kick, Twitter, you name it, I'll be on there. But guys and girls, thank you again for tuning in to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, and we will see you next week, every Wednesday, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Prime time, baby. Woo! All right, we'll see you around. Peace.
See ya.